start now. Hi and Assalamualaikum everyone. So for our LHE3223 assignment, we were given a task to interview one of the lecturer in UPM, and it is Dr. Nooreen for our group.
Pleasure.
Before that, we would like to introduce ourselves first. My name is Amar binti Mahani. My matrix number is BC250283. You can call me Amira.
Okay, my name is Shukrin Fasha Abdul Shukur. My matrix number is BC251255, and you can call me Kang.
Kang.
Yes.
Okay, alright.
Very unique, isn't it?
Hello doctor, my name is Gita Shi and my matrix number is BC251830. Doctor, you call me Gita.
Gita, okay.
My name is Nooreen binti Zakaria. My matrix number is BC253519. You can call me Dina.
Dina.
My name is Alisa Yudina binti Ahmad Irfan. My matrix number is BC251216. You can call me Nisa.
Lisa.
My name is Mia Nadira binti Abdullah and everyone calls me Mia. My matrix number is BC251693.
My name is Nur Aina Sofia binti Abdurrazak. You can call me Aina, and my matrix number is BC251588.
It's a bit strange this time around, the metric number.
It has
BC.
It has
The first
BC
batch
in
that
front
has
of
BC.
it.
They're out of numbers maybe.
Probably they will change the code so that they can identify you all easily.
Very busy for bachelor.
Thank you everyone. Now I would like to ask Dr. Nooreen to introduce yourself and a little bit about your academic background.
Okay, alright, thank you so much. My name is Dr. Nooreen, and I've been here for more than 20 years. More than 20 years. I started off as a tutor, and I did both my masters and my PhD here in UPM. I didn't get a chance to go abroad because back then in 1998 there was an economic recession, so I had applied to all these places in the States. I secured the places already, but unfortunately the registrar, UPM registrar said, we can't send you, so you have to do your PhD here. So I did my PhD here, and I'm glad that I did it here because I didn't have to go abroad back then. I have been teaching for more than 20 years already. I love teaching, and I was supposed to major in psychology, but one professor, his name is Professor Dr. Arshad Abdul Samad. When he came back from Arizona after he finished his PhD, and he sort of like pulled me in, saying that it's going to be a waste because my bachelor's degree was from UM and I majored in TESOL, so it's going to be a waste if you don't pursue your PhD in TESOL. So I thought long and hard about it, and I said okay, since the department didn't have that many lecturers majoring in TESOL, so I just followed his cue, and he was one of my supervisors when I did my PhD. I owe him a lot. Still in touch with him actually. He has retired for quite some time already. So that's just a bit about my career, of course.
Well, such an inspiring story for us. Yes, we're going to pursue our master or PhD.
Inshallah.
Okay. So without further ado, I'll start my first question.
Okay.
What is the meaning of literacy from your own perspective?
Okay. The way I understand it, I used to come across definitions like literacy is about being able to read and write, and being able to communicate. But this time around, when you have technology coming into the picture, I think the definition has slightly changed. It's not just about reading, writing and communicating per se, but it's also about being able to read online, being able to write using digital platforms, and being able to communicate using various communication platforms and being able to do it well. And you have you need to have the ability to be able to read and write, and also to be able to communicate effectively, especially when you have technology coming into the picture. So it's not just about reading, writing, and being able to communicate per se. These days, it's about being able to communicate. It's a two-way communication, and you do it. These days, you can do it, collaboratively even, with technology. That's my understanding of what literacy is.
I'll be asking you the second question.
Okay.
And just now you talked about your academic background, about about how you switch your studies between psychology and TESOL, right?
Right.
So how do you think by studying both TESOL and psychology enhances your perspective in education?
No, it has helped me a lot actually. I must say that I'm pretty blessed being able to pursue TESOL as well as psychology, because TESOL provided me with the training on how to become a teacher, and knowing the subject matter and also the pedagogy, and it taught me how to be able to teach. The psychology part, I felt that it gave me an advantage because I learned a lot about cognitive development. I learned about mental capacity. So I was able to learn more about how the brain works, how each individual is different from one another. You might have even our DNAs are different, so that means individually we have our own unique characteristics. We might have similar characteristics, but there'll just be one or two which will be quite different between you and me, and between you, all of you, each and every one of you. So that gave me an advantage in, for example, in psychology, I learned a lot about short-term memory and long-term memory. So knowing about short-term memory and long-term memory, it has helped me to plan my lessons better, because when a lot of information is given to the students and you expect them to retain them in the short-term memory, you know that you have to develop your lessons accordingly, meaning to say that you can't give them too much information, otherwise it will all be lost, and they cannot store it in the short-term memory. The whole point is for them to be able to digest everything using the short-term memory. So you have to plan your lessons by using mini tasks, short tasks, small activities, so that they can keep it in their memory, retain whatever knowledge and information that they have. So that gave me a lot of input on how teaching actually works. So like I said, by specializing, having a lot of knowledge in the teaching part, and also how the brain works, how cognitive development is, how it works, really helps.
I see. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
So the next question will be from me.
Okay.
So, in your opinion, what makes a student truly literate?
Okay, so like I said, nowadays, you define a student who is literate as a person who is not just able to read and write, but they can actually read and write not just from the printed books, but also from digital platforms. So from digital platforms, and being able to look at the information and not just try to understand and comprehend. You have to teach them. And for someone who can be categorized as truly literate is when you are able to comprehend the passage in digital platform, let's say, and then you can actually verify, look for sources to verify the information, meaning that you don't just read it and take it 100% and believe it throughout, or as it is. You have to check your facts, and you have to verify your sources and you are able to use that information and put it in your own words. Like, for example, you create your own infographic on how this information should look like. For me, that is someone who is literate, because you are able to collect the information, verify the sources, and transform the knowledge that you gain into something that you can deliver on your own using your own platform. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll be asking the question.
Okay.
So just now you mentioned that you've been teaching for quite some time, right?
Okay.
So from your experience of teaching, what are from the strategies that you implemented? I mean, by developing lesson plans and applying your knowledge in psychology, how far has it influenced your students' literacy in terms of reading and comprehension skills?
Okay, so if I were to talk about that, I would have to go back way back when I was teaching. When technology was not really available. So everything was very direct, meaning to say that we relied a lot on textbooks, and we had to look for sources on our own. There was no internet back then. Internet just came about, when I was probably in my university years. So, but when I was teaching, because we didn't have that facility back then, so it was just the reliance on the teachers' creativity on coming up, generating your own materials. So you just make sure that your students are able to comprehend, and then back then it was just like teaching because you want your students to be able to understand the text. And the whole point when I was taught during my university years is my lecturer always tells me, or she told me, the point of teaching reading, for example, is for your students to be able to conquer the text. If they are able to conquer the text, you can move on. You can do activities with them. You can create a lot of exercises for them. Imagine if they cannot understand the text at all, how can you move on? It's really impossible for you to give any true-false exercises or matching exercises because they don't understand what the content is all about. So that was one of the key things that I thought my lecturer taught me, which was useful. So over the years, because like I said, technology has played an important role. So the medium, you have a variety of mediums where you can get your sources. It's not just through the textbooks, but from other digital platforms as well. So that is good. That it has influenced the reading habits of my students these days. But I also noticed that students these days, they are not able to handle very long texts. Very much bite-sized information, very much what they can read at that point in time, and that is the thing that they will be able to understand quickly. For them to be able to handle long texts, that is going to be a challenge for the teachers, who's teaching them. So my thought about that is, one way you can actually overcome this is that, I have seen teachers doing this for schools where they allow students to use handphones or any gadgets that you have. So the teachers would say, put all your gadgets aside or put in the basket or anything. So focus on just reading this text for 20 minutes. I just need your time for 20 minutes to really read and deeply think about what you're reading. So after that, we can do exercises because, I just want to make sure that you engage in that deep reading and not just reading, scrolling, zombie scrolling, doom scrolling, or whatever they call it, right? And nothing comes nothing is absorbed. So I thought, that is one of the ways in which you can encourage students to handle long text. So over the years, yes, it has improved, but it has improved in a way that it aligns with how technology is playing its role as well. So the roles and responsibilities of the teachers will have to change. Yeah. I hope I answered your question.
So since you mentioned about how the technology really evolves the way we teach our students, right?
Right.
And you say that how literacy from back then is much more harder to be acquired than now, because right now we have lots of mediums and technologies. So in your opinion, do you think that the system of education nowadays, they actually put enough emphasis on literacy as a lifelong skills rather than just mere academic requirements? What do you think about that?
Okay, that's an interesting question. Yes, I do think that the government, especially the Ministry of Education, they put very heavy emphasis on literacy. Literacy in education, digital literacy. They do plan all these initiatives to promote that. The only thing that I feel that needs to be looked into is the implementation part of this initiative, because like I said, some schools are fortunate enough that they have all these facilities in which they can capitalize on the use of technology. You have internet in school, and you have enough rooms for students to be able to go into the audio visual room and use tablets or iPads if they have any, and get access to the resources online. Compare that to schools which are really less fortunate. So there's nothing much that can be done. So I see there's a big gap there. So if there's anything that has to be improved, is to try to reduce the gap. So I know that telco companies like Maxis, they do run programs whereby they go to the schools in the rural areas and set up this internet community, where all the students, the kampung boys, kampung girls, they can go to this internet facility. It's like a small setup that they have, and let them be exposed to news information available online. Otherwise, it's a bit difficult, because one thing for sure, the connectivity will be a problem. So they are a bit disadvantaged that way. So one thing I know is that the ministry needs to look at how they can actually reduce the gap.
I think this is more of a follow-up question from this. It's in the same path, but it's more personal. With your knowledge on PESEL, which also studies of how the students' mind work, and psychology, which literally studies about the brain, how do you implement these education and knowledge to your own children on how they would have a strong literacy skills, as digital literacy, strong communication, critical thinking? So how do you implement that on your own children?
With my children, their exposure towards digital literacy, I would say, started very young. So they have access to the technology, and I feel throughout the years they have been able to use the technology to the fullest. And I don't feel that they have any problems at all finding information, looking at news information, and I don't think they have any problems looking for the information. The only thing that I felt that I could improve on as they are growing up is that their management of the screen time. That's the thing that I feel that I need to do something about it, because I cannot. I have less control over that this time around. So it's becoming very difficult to have that total control because as a parent I'm busy. So I can't be overseeing what they are looking, what they are browsing through every day, every minute of the day. Although at some point in time when they were in their secondary school or primary school, my husband and I, we did make it a point to bring all the desktops and whatever laptops available and put them in the living room instead of letting them have access in their own rooms, in their own caves. I call it caves because my children, once they go into their rooms, it's like they are hibernating inside there and they are in their own cave. So
I should do that.
so that's the thing. So we made sure that we put everything outside and we're able to see what they're seeing. So we thought that was one of the ways in which we can have control over what they are seeing and what they are who they are meeting online. That worked for a while. And then when they went off to their own schools, boarding schools and unis and whatnot, so it's a bit difficult now. So now the challenge is to get them not to be so addicted to the use of technology. So what we do is at home, when it's dinner time, lunch time or breakfast time or whatever, we make it a point, no gadgets on the table. You put everything away, it's us, just us. And you have to, if you want to talk about anything, talk. Yeah, you don't have to send text messages to us. We are right here in front of you. You can talk to us. So that's one of the ways in which I try to implement, and I also teach them how to be mindful about the information that they come across with. Because out there are a lot of scammers, people who are taking opportunities. So to be literate is also to know how to check your sources. I say. Yes, so you have to be very careful because whoever you meet online, how do you know for sure that that is the real person behind the screen? So for all you know, he or she could be someone else.
Like AI.
AI. So I tell them, whatever you come across and whatever you feel is something worth the while for you to have that information and keep the knowledge, check your sources first. Is this really valid? Is this really legit? You can check with us, I said, we may not know everything, with what's going on out there, but I told them many times, we have a bit of experience in dealing with this sort of people. So that's how I try to implement and try to educate them in terms of being literate.
So I'll be asking you the next question. Just like you said before, that the digital literacy is quite scary nowadays because we don't know what they will read online and what not. So from your perspective of personal and psychology, so what do you think that can help the students maintain their cognitive stamina on reading while still embracing the speed and efficiency in this digital world?
Okay, that's partly the teacher's job, and it's a big challenge for the teacher to carry this out, because training the student's mind to be more resilient towards the kind of information that they're getting is one thing, because students nowadays they get distracted quite easily. I find that quite visible, quite obvious. Very distracted. So I feel that one of the ways in which I can try to train them is try to train them how to multitask. So multitasking for me is a very important skill but it does not mean that you touch and go in everything that you do. Yeah, you multitask, and the ability to multitask is the ability to manage your time.
Yes.
Yeah. So there are some people who are very single-minded in doing things. You finish one thing, you have to finish that one thing. Before you move on to the next, right?
Yes.
Some people, they can actually multitask. So I find that in this day and age, if you are single-minded, about what you do, you would probably take a bit more time finishing what you want to do, and you lag and you delay the other task that you need to do. So you need to teach them how to multitask and how to manage their time, and that I think requires stamina, because you need to be able to organize your thoughts, you need to be able to plan for your time, and you need to plan your tasks accordingly. How many percent over here must I finish before I move to the next one? So I teach them. Okay, the stamina comes from your time management. You plan accordingly. How many percent you have to finish your task here, and then you move on to the next. So you have to have a lot of strategies in here. Being able to plan, being able to monitor yourselves, being able to evaluate whether you've done this the right way or not. So that all requires stamina. So for a teacher to be able to train students how to do this is what we call metacognitive strategy. To be able to do all this, to plan, to monitor, to evaluate, and to see whether what you've done is effective or not. So in teaching and learning, especially in English language teaching and learning, we use a lot of this in teaching reading, especially because reading requires comprehension. So it's a process. So you have to go through the process. Yeah, that's how I think looking at metacognitive strategy and how it can relate to building their stamina. Yeah. Okay.
I think that's all for our today's interview. Thank you, and thank you so much for spending your time with us.
My pleasure. Anything that I can help with in terms of completing your assignment, I just hope that all this information is what you all needed.
Yes.
And good luck with your assignment. It's a very big group assignment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So good luck, yeah. Okay. All right, everybody. Good luck.